Yeah. Yeah, into the 6 days, tourists weren't really having fun. They were like, this sucks. But I don't know. I thought it was cool. They gave us good food every night at like so and so, and every morning you'd stand in line and do some big buffet. Maybe that was in the basement. That's what we used the basement for. And the food was really good. I think you could get as much as you want or something, or they'd stack your plate up, and it was really good food, really healthy, wholesome food, Brazilian food, just vegetables and I guess chunks of meat or something. But yeah, but yeah, the tourists were kind of getting stressed out. I remember one point I was hanging out with them in the front of the boat. That was a cool place to hang out in the front of the boat, the very second level on the very tip front, because you can just look it forward and just watch the boat, go forward, and it's kind of like there's nothing in front of you, you're just going. But some guy was like wanting to hang out with us or talk to us, and some guys like leave us alone, and they're like, "What? No!" And they're just really like in your face, kind of like the Brazilian, like the Moroccans and Indonesians. So this kid he stands up like this, and that guy's like, "Come on!" He's joking. It was kind of funny. But anyways, I kept a lookout for logging boats because I heard there's all this logging that they log 2 football fields of logs every single second in the Amazon, and they get it boated out. But I only saw one logging boat the whole time. But sure enough, it was loaded with logs going down the river. And I did see, I think they have freshwater dolphin. Maybe it's the only freshwater dolphin in the world now that the one in China is completely extinct now. But I did see it. Just for a second, I saw it. It was totally pink, like a baby. And I kind of saw it splash down. And yeah, but there's lots of boats, lots of caravan boats going up and down that river, where you'd have this big like boat, kind of like the boat we had, and then it would be towing like a rowboat, which would be connected to like a canoe, and you'd see like sometimes like 5 boats being towed along. And there's also lots of people living on the side of the river. I actually had a dream about that a few days ago, but yeah, just these really basic houses right along the side of the river. I don't know how they got there. Maybe they got there and back in boats, and there were no actual roads that got there. And I think they made their living from cows, because I think I saw a bunch of cows walking around. And but they all had satellite dishes on their houses, so they all had TV. They were all connected to the world that way. And I saw kids jumping into the river and swimming around, so it wasn't like dangerous place to swim around, anacondas and crocodiles and stuff. Maybe farther up in the jungle it was like that, but then we got to this point where these two rivers come together. I can't remember what they're called. It was right before you get to Manaus, but it was really pretty because one of the rivers is like green and the other one's like brown or something. And when they come together, the water hits and then it swirls around and mixes the colors, and then even for a while, like half the river as it goes down is green and half it's blue. It's pretty cool. And then we got to Manaus. Manaus is a huge city, another one of these megalopolises. I know because I took a bus across, I guess to see a movie or something, in the indoor pedestrian mall, which was on the edge of town, which is like a half-hour bus ride away. It's just would have been cool to have a bike there, just to see exactly how big it was, but it's huge. But it's the most isolated big city in the world, because there's no road that goes to or leaves Manaus. I guess there's one road on the other side of the Amazon that goes north towards Venezuela, but there's no road that goes anywhere else south or anything like that. You have to take a boat. But downtown area of Manaus was interesting. I actually hung out in Manaus though on my return trip. Because when I got to Manaus, I decided to I didn't want to get a hotel room there because it was kind of expensive, so I just took a bus directly up into, towards the north because I wanted to take a bus across Guyana. So I went and stayed at, yeah, I took a bus directly to Guyana. And on the bus ride over there, some black dude who said he was Guyanese, sat next to me and wanted to be my buddy and stuff. And then we got to the border, and I guess he wanted to be my buddy because turned out he was running a scam on me, wanted me to pay for everything. He's like, yeah, I don't have the money to get across the thing. Can you pay for me? And my stepmother's on the other side. I just like lost my wallet. So I was like, all right. So I do that. And to get into the country, there's no bridge. They were in the process of building a bridge, but there was no bridge. You had to, like, cars would have to pay some guy with a boat that he would push with sticks to get across this river that you could have waded across. It was only like 30 feet across, that was maybe 3 feet deep or something, but just paid to get across the river. And then you take a taxi into the town. Can't remember what the town was called. Man, I probably should have looked at my map first. But it's this really basic town, totally dirt roads. Pretty much nobody has a car except for the people who drive to the Georgetown, the capital, and back. So it's just this really basic town of just, really basic houses and not a whole lot of people. Really spread out town, kind of like American style. The houses would have front yards and backyards, although it would just be dirt. It was really arid, just a few trees, but not a whole lot of trees. And so he showed me the hotel where his stepmother lives, and he didn't even talk to her. Maybe she wasn't even his stepmother. He was just full of shit because she didn't have any money for him. He said, "Oh no, she doesn't have any money. Oh well. Oh, don't worry though. I can pay you in Georgetown." But I guess he had his bag or something, so he had the money to get to Georgetown. But anyways, he goes and takes me to his friend's house over on the edge of town. He lives in this like one room shack, and I think he cooked. He did have maybe a stove or something that was connected to a gas ballon. I'm not totally sure, but it was just, I think it was a dirt floor. He slept in a hammock, and so we hung out with him, and I think his cousin and some old guy who had one eye. And we got all high, and they cooked food. They called it ital. In Guyana, it's pretty much like being in Jamaica. They talk just like they're Jamaican, although they say that they can't understand the Jamaicans. The Jamaicans' English is worse than their English, but to me it seemed like when they would talk to each other, I could barely understand what they were saying. But it was cool getting stoned and hanging out on the edge of, and like, it reminded me of the Australian outback. Just a bunch of dirt, red dirt and bushes and stuff. And it was really cool because it was like, I don't know how high it was, but we weren't in the jungle, we were up. High enough so where it wasn't humid or anything or hot. And I think we hung out there for like a day or two waiting for the bus to come. And they played these movies outside in these bars. That's what they do at night for fun. They go to these bars and sit outside, and there's this TV up high that plays movies. And we were watching a Jet Li movie, and it was funny because there was all these older, Rasta men. I think they even had like dreadlocks. It was kind of like being in Jamaica. And they're like, "Yeah, man, this guy Jet Li, he the baddest ass. He would kick Jackie Chan." But they kept talking the whole time in the movie. And yeah, I got a beer there. Oops, I'm out of time.